Another actual YouTube video, just because the content is just kind of so YouTube focused. Uh, about the ad thing, I did see part of an Amazing Atheist video, and Puro brought it up, and Fake Sagan, and whatever. People have mentioned this, something, whatever this is, right? The advertisers fighting back kind of a thing, or finally getting a clue, I'd almost argue. You know, but the Amazing Atheist makes a very funny little bit here. Maybe I'll just play it. Maybe you can still hear it, and we'll just play the audio about what YouTube was. And I just thought it was so funny because it's just so
of actually living up to the promise that it started with of being YouTube. YouTube, as in me and everyone else who's doing this, whether they do it for a living or for a hobby. That was the idea. Independent content creation.
No, it wasn't. So it's like it's just forgotten real history. I mean, they had a court case about it all. All the truth came out. YouTube was a contrivance from the very beginning by the same kind of entrepreneurs looking for a way to make an easy buck. And so they created a website called YouTube, and the whole intention was just to steal network content, and not pay for it. And to gain money from posting other people's creativity and steal the intellectual property and that whole spiel. And that's all it was. It was intended to create views so it could be sold for a big giant pile of money. And it was a complete sex story. And even when they had to go to court, then the Google powers took over, and all of a sudden, no harm, no foul. And it was foul from the very beginning. But the whole financing the internet based on ad revenue, that was a public decision. And so instead of having any kind of like public television or any kind of public option, some choice not to have to pay for this crap this way, we all got to pay for it this way. And everybody thinks, oh, I got an ad block, or I got this, or I got no, it doesn't matter. You're still paying for the fact that we have a world where instead of marketers having to earn respectability by actually having a list of criteria like honest reviews and some other standard for distribution, it's all still marketing, and we all have to pay for it. So 40, maybe 30-40% of what you're when you're buying something, a huge amount of the price is the marketing of the product. You're not paying for the products, you're paying for some stupid strategy to sell a few more in some sort of stupid competitive environment. And the waste of this is just, it's an insane amount of waste. All the very fact that we have all these redundancies of businesses and slightly different models, and so every time a factory gets built and closed, you pay for it. You do, the consumer. Every time a company goes bankrupt, you pay for it, the consumer. Okay, the owners don't pay, the rich don't pay, you pay. And you're paying for this advertising. All of it. Everywhere. The product is how they pay for the advertisement. The price of the product pays for the advertising. Whether you watch the ads or not, whether you're persuaded by the ads or not, it doesn't matter. You're paying for it either way. And it's a stupid way to run a civilization. That we should have never sold out the internet to the capitalist interest in the first place. I mean, first they gave the basic infrastructure of the internet to a bunch of corporations, and now they charge you rent to own your name. Just money stolen essentially for 2.3 millicents worth of computer data that has to be updated every year, and you got to pay $13 for it. For a bunch of middlemen, a bunch of silly infrastructure that accomplishes nothing. So GoDaddy can buy commercials so it can get people to host and buy domain names from its company instead of some other company, and they're selling exactly the same thing. It's just stupid, the waste. So yeah, the government should have stepped in a long time ago and said, look, the basic infrastructure of this thing is like the public library. The basic infrastructure is to facilitate the exchange of information and communication between human beings. And yes, if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur about it and they want to make money, they should have the option to do that. But the whole thing shouldn't be dependent on that. The existence of the choice shouldn't be dependent on that. And that was a choice people make because you're all greedy sons of bitches. You're all fucking shysters looking for a way to make money. He calls it YouTube. It wasn't YouTube for him ever. It was partner tube. It was let's get into business. And he's another guy talking about being censored. He censored himself years ago. He made a conscious decision, to not say fuck or not do this or not do that because it offended the partnership. Offended my partner in theft. And, so, yeah, I mean, I hate advertising. I hate advertisers. But I don't have any empathy for the people who have fed off this very corrosive system that does nothing to enhance YouTube. Their very presence has made it more difficult and more economically unviable for actually other alternative opinions to exist. They've drowned out the audience by, their videos get promoted. They got rid of all the structures that could give people a way of finding things based on keywords or do it this, some sort of rational way. And it just became a promotion engine. These are the popular people. Fuck the rest. We'll tell you when somebody's worth seeing. And that's all it is. That's all Google is. It's a search engine that'll tell you what's popular. It won't tell you the truth. It won't tell you what's the most credible. It won't tell you the most updated information. It won't give you any tools to filter through the bullshit. And so I've made this simple argument that the ideal of the internet was this idea that you can take production and you can take a consumer and you can give them a direct straight line where they could actually buy the product for what it costs to make the product, and the producer wouldn't have to waste any money aggressively selling. That the quality of his product would sell itself, so to speak. The satisfied consumer would do the work, and we didn't get that. You can't buy a computer directly from Dell unless you're a sucker. Unless you want to get completely fucked, you don't buy the computer from Dell, because Dell's going to charge you much more than the bargain rate it'll give Best Buy, because Best Buy will advertise Dell. Best Buy will put Dell's name all over the damn ad. So Best Buy does the advertising, gets a cut rate on the computer, and so you end up having to buy the advertised computer whether you like it or not, because Dell won't sell you the computer at what it actually costs to make. Because that's not the game. That's not the game we've chosen to live in. Is a world where everything is marketed and it's sold based on its popularity, not on its quality, and not on the mechanism that attempts to create it, whether it fails or not. We should be encouraging people to try, not not saying we're going to make it draconian. You either succeed or you fail. Try has nothing to do with it. We should reward any effort to do anything of merit, and that's not what this environment does at all. So, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is I hate the idea of internet financed on advertising revenue, and that the basic infrastructure, the right to publish, should at least be almost a guaranteed thing, or at least you just pay the cost. I don't mind paying the cost of publishing videos, but I want it to be the cost of publishing videos, not the cost of advertising GoDaddy, or the cost of selling some other shyster product or whatever else business they're in. And we can have that. We can have that with the internet. The internet could provide, the government could provide server space, and it could tell you how much it's going to cost for the videos you uploaded, the quality of the videos, whatnot. We could have a YouTube where the producers pay a minimum fee, which covers the cost of producing, making your videos viewable, and the producer has to pay for what they use, what gets consumed, and they can find their own way of financing that by soliciting donations or placing ads by their choice on the video. Finding advertisers who want their product advertised. You can even put your ads in the video if you want. I mean, that all compromises, in my opinion, your integrity, but so what? If that's if you want to make a living doing it, that's the way you should do it, honestly. But you shouldn't be dragging advertisers into your media and say they have to subsidize your product. or to say even to the public that it has to subsidize your product, in some sort of substantial way. I don't think it should. But there should be a real game here, and there's no real game, just as there's no real internet. Google is telling you what's on the internet. You can't really access the real internet. You just get the part Google exposes you to. And it's not a card catalog. It's run by a self-interested company that has its own ads all over the place, and it's going to take you to places. I mean, you can just, there's every financial incentive. If there's two equal pages and one of them has Google ads on them and one doesn't, Google has a huge incentive to send you the one with its ads on it. And the fact that you've accepted those kinds of corrupting interests, conflict of interests, and said, that's okay, give me the internet by Google, give me the world by Google. A corporation out to just make money, to satisfy stockholders. It's a marketing business. The amount of money they spend on internet infrastructure is tiny compared to the amount of money they spend managing advertising. It's an advertising company, a marketing company, and you're letting it control the internet, and then you're complaining, because those controls are going to maybe take away your free ride. Pretty stupid. Yeah. Just a denial of the racket we've always been stuck with is rackets. Everything has to be a damn racket for some jackass to charge you twice as much for something. Everybody thinks being a middleman is an honorable job. He even talks in this video about disgusting things like professional wrestling. I mean, a completely fake drama, fake soap opera. They can't even watch an honest soap opera of whatever it is, kickboxing or NASCAR racing. I don't think they figure out ahead of time who's going to die in NASCAR. So at least it's an honest soap opera. Oh, who's going to get killed this week? Or a little bit of fiery death. Not completely dead. Just burned or a few broken bones. Fun. But yeah, that's the world we live in. It is pitiful. The humans are disgraceful based on the media they finance, and even the quality of the advertising is so frickin'. I'm stunned that what the perception of the universe capacity people must have to see how they're deliberately being manipulated by these advertisers in this grotesque manner, and they fall for it. It actually encourages them to buy something when every single ad I see makes me say, well, I'll never buy anything from those assholes. They thought that was going to work? Fuck them. I mean, just demonstrates how small and puny the mind of man is. That this is what we'll find. It will accept the world this way. Because we all want our cut. Because we all want to be billionaires or something. Because we all can't think of doing anything in a social interest. And it just makes me want to puke. Oh. Yeah, maybe it's just this guy. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. But anyway, it's just the wine was, the hypocrisy that's built into his complaint. All of the stuff YouTube has done for years in terms of censoring. And he even complained about his name. So he changes his name to T.J. Kirk because he wants to get rid of his atheist moniker, the thing that made him, he wants to get rid of. And he's so circumstantial in the sense that he was very lucky. The time he showed up, he was the right guy at the right time, blah blah blah. And that's the way fame often works. You just get lucky. You're a mediocre actor, but you end up in a great movie, and all of a sudden you're Shakespearean or something. And it's just because you got lucky. Great movie. And so he got lucky in terms of popularity at the right time. Being the right whatever. But, if he showed up today, I don't think he'd get anywhere. But he thinks he has this, I know what people want. I mean, people want, this whole skinhead thing or whatever the hell he's doing, this, whatever. I mean, and his claim to fame was he was willing to say things like, yeah, I thought about molesting kids. He said, yeah, I'll give a rapes, mate. It's no big deal. Get over it, bitch. Being just a slightly, just not just Howard Stern, trigger, but I mean, just every single sentence was just trigger people, trigger, trigger, trigger. That's what he figures out. So he thinks he's a brilliant producer of content, and all he's figured out is trigger, 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 trigger. Shoot at them, and they'll come back to shoot back. You know, and it sucks. It's terrible. It's disgusting. But anyway, there was some. Oh yeah, he's bringing up professional wrestling. You're just like this is what's wrong with the world. And TJ is supposed to be some sort of TJ Kirk is supposed to be some sort of like edgy intellectual, and that entertains him. So anyway, so he was complaining about his name because he changed his name to T.J. Kirk, and then it occurred to him, oh wait a minute, my logo is wrong, so maybe I better wait to change my name. So it's really hard to change the logo, or it really makes any difference since you're radically changing your the name. Like people give a damn or could pay attention. You might want to keep the Amazing Atheist logos for a little while just so people don't get totally confused. But anyway, so his complaint was he went to go change his name back and YouTube wouldn't let him, and he claims it's because the word atheist was in the name. I find that highly doubtful that YouTube won't let you create a name that has the word atheist in it, so I don't believe that. I think what the problem was is you already had used the word The Amazing Atheist, and so even though it was the same channel trying to change the name back, it was acknowledging that name has already been used and you can't use it. So I think that's what it was doing. But whatever. Conspiracy theories they may have. Maybe that just makes the whole thing more sympathetic. Like their big court battle. I wonder how the big $20,000 court battle is going, where they're going to win the right to harass people on the internet. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to cry too many tears because there's not too much paid content on YouTube I have any use for at all. So all the content I basically watch is content that doesn't have ads on it, and isn't financed, and somebody isn't dependent on the money and all that kind of stuff. So I can't see it hurting me any. And change sucks, so I'll grant you that. I'm sorry the system's changing. In terms of how it's going to finance, and you'll have to get your ads some other way. Like you have to put them, you actually have to do the advertising in your videos or something. But again, we've been there and done that, right? I mean, I found it incredibly obnoxious, when Howard Stern was spending half an hour talking about Snapple. I mean, it made me hate Snapple. Just, even though it was a good product, I hated it just because I'm saying, he's spending 15, 20 minutes talking about fucking goddamn soda. Fuck! I mean, that's a waste of my brain space. So anyway, enough of the video. So I'll try to keep the title polite enough, but I mean, Google's the problem. Having the world run by marketing companies, the internet run by marketing companies, is really dumb. And people should have in the past chosen a better path than this. Some sort of, look, the internet started off in the hands of scientists, and as we'll find out, if you give them the right or the ability, they're just as greedy as everybody else, and they're all going to look and say, how do I make money off of this? And that's what happened. They all talked each other into, well, can't we find a way where we can be the people making money off this? And so they come up with a silly, let's rent the domain names. You used to be able to buy a domain name for life for $10, that kind of thing. It's just turned into, it all gets turned into shit because of greedy individualism. And nobody has any kind of perception that you got to pay attention to the civilization if you want to have one. You have to actually think, what's good for civilization? It's good for civilization to have a media where people can communicate with each other. And it's good for civilization to have some way you organize that content, that maximizes the power of the consumer to get what they want. not to maximize the power of advertisers and companies that have personal financial interests. That's not what's supposed to happen. If you want something in the social interest, you have to engineer it to be in the social interest. And none of these assholes are ever for that anyway. So, because, yeah, they can get a bigger cut that way. That's not entrepreneur friendly. You know. So, whatever. Idiocracy wins. Again. Mostly. Forever. Probably. So anyway, enough of a video. Till next time.